right. Okay, could you please have a seat? We are going to get started. I know everyone's busy catching up with each other, but please have a seat and let's get today started. All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Julia Lee Cunningham. I'm an associate professor of management and organizations here at Ross School of Business. I'm also the faculty co-director at the Center for Positive Organizations with my colleague Wayne Baker. I would like to start this morning with a little trick that I learned from Air Force Officer Training School. I would like you to say outstanding when I ask you, how are you doing? So that would be the thing that we're all going to do, right? You get the instruction. If I ask you, how are you doing? You say outstanding. And it has to be in a perfect harmony. Otherwise, we're not going to get started, okay? Your conference is canceled as a result. So how are you doing? Outstanding. Wow, that was pretty good. I mean, that was better than my students, but I'm going to get you do it one more time. Just focus your attention. How are you doing? Outstanding. Perfect. Excellent. I'm very excited about it. And before I talk about the conference, I would also like to say this is a thought that I've been holding for a long time, and I've really missed this gathering, and I've really missed meeting all of you. So really looking forward to connecting during this conference. So we have 195 scholars attending. Some of them are still coming because of the weather events, but you have almost 200 people from 91 academic institutions. 22 of you are international participants representing seven countries outside the United States. And for domestic participants, we have 31 states represented here. I must also tell you that this is my fourth POS Research Conference, and I would like to take a quick poll. Please raise your hand if this is the 10th time attending. Oh my God, that is amazing. So this means that you have attended all the conferences that we have ever hosted for 20 years, which is incredible. Well, you didn't miss a single one, which is, again, very, it's amazing. Who has been here more than twice? Raise your hand. Okay, almost a half, which is great. So please keep coming. Who is here for the very first time? Wow, that is amazing. That is incredible. I learned from the people who are helping with the registration that almost 60% of the audience are here for the first time, which is incredible. So welcome to the POS Research Conference. I'm particularly excited about the first-time attendees as well as the doctoral students and early career researchers who would really benefit from having this great community. And that's how I started in 2015, 2016. I look forward to meeting each and every one of you during this conference, and so please don't hesitate and please come and say hello. All right, since there are many newcomers here, let me start by telling you more about who we are and what we do here. So our mission is this. The Center for Positive Organizations is the leading global center for science of designing and sustaining thriving organizations. And we are celebrating 20 years this year. Yay! A little bit later today, our former faculty director and my beloved colleague Gretchen Spritzer will share the center's history, so stay tuned. And what we've been doing is to support our research communities. Our research community has been growing substantially over the past 20 years. We now have 625 researchers around the world in our community of scholars. and we have 72 active faculty affiliates and associates. We also have a wonderful speaker series that is designed to share our POS research in the most accessible way. And since COVID, we have switched to virtual, which meant that we were able to draw a lot more individuals around the world. And so we had 11,000 people registered for our sessions last year. And we will be hosting our 150th session this fall. We already have a wonderful lineup of scholars this upcoming fall. Quinetta Robertson from Michigan State University is our first guest, and Laura Huang from Harvard University, and then Scott Page at the University of Michigan. It will be our special speaker for the 150th session. So that's the only one that will be somewhat hybrid, but the rest of the session will be purely virtual, so please join us online. We also support emerging scholars, which is something that our fearless leader and founder, Jane Dutton, has been incredibly passionate about. These sessions are also virtual now, and they offer an opportunity for junior scholars and doctoral students to present their research, along with seed generators who foster ideas, insights, and new possibilities. It has been a huge success, as you can imagine. So if you feel like me, meaning you feel a little bit disconnected from the research world because of COVID, please sign up and register for the series and join the incubator sessions. We also have a gathering at the Academy of Management pretty much every year. Nice and early. For those of you who have been going to that one, you will probably remember the pain of getting up that early. And this year's host will be Luud Livne Tarandash from Manhattan College, Huria Zazairi from Santa Clara University, and Sophie Paicholo from University of Oregon. And our faculty lead is Monica Warline. Thank you so much for hosting this year's event and making us get up really early. And at this conference alone, we received 162 abstract submissions for consideration. We also received the record number of nominations, 57 papers. I'm serious, 57 papers, and that was a lot of time reading it. So as you can see, our scholarship is going very, very strong. We were also delighted to hear from you about how POS was able to have a positive impact on your life and your scholarship. I've selected a couple of stories that highlighted the role that we played. The Center for Positive Organizations changed my outlook on being a scholar. I was a PhD student when the center launched. The center and its incredible leaders and founders offered both language and legitimacy for the things I wanted to study. How leaders enable sustainability, creativity, and generativity by engaging the both and of paradoxes. The second one, I first attended the POS conference in 2016, it being the first management-oriented research conference of my career. It took me completely by surprise. I had been searching then for a substantial amount of time for my people, and after only a few hours at the conference, I began to feel that these were indeed my people. So thank you so much for sharing these stories, and I really hope that you take this opportunity to find your own people. I am also grateful to all of you who have been dedicated member of this community for all those years. So now let me introduce the members of the conference organizing committee. They started planning for a 2021 conference, and Courtney was saying it almost has been a 4-year journey preparing for this conference to happen. But we had to cancel it because of the COVID last year and instead produced a virtual roundtable with over 350 participants. So here are the members. Please do come up to the stage as I call your name. The first one is unfortunately missing. Dave Mayer, my colleague from my university. He's unfortunately unable to attend because he's attending his brother's wedding. It's a tough competition, right? Brianna Katza from University of North Carolina, Greensboro. Please come up to the stage. And Courtney McClooney from Cornell University. Welcome home. And Mandy O'Neill from George Mason University. And then the doctoral student members, Christina Bradley from University of Michigan, Serenity Lee from University of Pennsylvania, and Brittany Mallory from the University of Pennsylvania. Thank you very much. I think Serenity, you can take over, I believe.
Yes, okay. Can everyone hear me? So I will be leading the next activity. We're going to go to a classic high quality connections activity. So one of our big hopes here for the conference is for you to make new connections that are going to reinvigorate and sustain your research. So in that spirit, we'll be doing 2 rounds of high quality connections. So the beauty of a high-quality connection is that it's brief. So we're going to spend just 3 minutes per round. Please turn to someone next to you, introduce yourself, and share what brought you here to the conference today, and what are you most excited about. Please begin.
What?
Why are they laughing?
Oh, really? I was going to turn it on, but maybe I'll turn it off.
Thank you. I think I'm coming back after you, and I'll hand over this.
And did they hear me?
I don't think so.
All right.
But if it's yellow.
All right. Everyone. Hello.
Is it working?
Hello. All right. Okay. Love the energy.
Need some lights.
All right, everyone, love the energy. I'm so happy you enjoyed the activity. We're going to do one more round, so we're not done yet. The next prompt is, what's a question that's been keeping you up at night? Please try to turn to someone new. You may begin for another 3 minutes. All right, everyone. All right. Can I call your attention back? Okay. All right.
All
I
right.
don't have that kind of power.
Please go back to your seats.
Thank you, Julia.
I know it's tough to cut the conversation short, but you will have plenty of time to do that. So please go back to your seats.
All right. Okay, so glad everyone's enjoying that. You will have plenty of opportunities today to engage in more connections, and Brittany is going to share more about what's going on.
I'm just going to briefly share with you the agenda for the day, which you can see here, and it's in your folder. We'll be here until 11:30. Then we'll break for lunch. You'll have an hour and a half to keep chatting and meeting people and finding old friends and colleagues. Then we'll go to our first research session from 1 to 3. Then we'll have a refreshment break and go to our second session at 3:30 for a couple of hours, and then we'll wrap up with dinner at the end of the day from 6 to 7:30.
Awesome. Cool. And it is my pleasure and absolute honor today to introduce Gretchen Spritzer, who will be welcoming us from the Dean Suite. Gretchen is currently the Associate Dean for Engaged Learning and Professional Development, as well as the Keith E. and Valerie J. Alessi Professor of Business Administration and Professor of Management and Organizations here at Ross. As a part of the Dean Suite and school's leadership team, she oversees the Career Development Office, Global Initiatives, and the Office for Action-Based Learning. Gretchen has said that she looks for many opportunities in this role to bring POS into Ross in a variety of ways. She says it's a great chance for her to practice what she researches, which I think is amazing. Apart from her role as Associate Dean, she's an incredible teacher, teaching classes on thriving and managing change, and a leading researcher on topics such as thriving at work, employee empowerment, and leadership development. She is co-author of several books and the author of countless articles and serves as on several editorial boards of top journals. Finally, Gretchen is a dedicated and supportive mentor. Her care for others is without bounds, and she is one of the reasons I was so excited to join the management department at Ross. She truly embodies the POS spirit. Please help me in welcoming Gretchen Spritzer.
Thank you. Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you. Oh, wow, it's great to be here together. Can you hear me okay? All right, I guess we need to repeat what Julia started. So how y'all doing? Outstanding. Great, that's great. Well, I feel outstanding being here with all of you in person after 3 years. It's wonderful to be together, and I can just feel the energy. It's just amazing. A big thank you to the organizers and the CPO staff who have done just an amazing job of planning this over really the last 3 years. And I think you're going to find not only the content of this conference is great, but also how it's going to make us feel and how we'll be able to connect with each other. I want to share with you a little bit, Julia said about the history. I want to share with you maybe more about kind of how we've got to where we're at and how Ross and the University of Michigan have really valued POS and the Center for Positive Organizations. So how did we get here? Well, 2001, I was just making the transition from being on the faculty at USC to coming here. And as that was happening, there were 3 faculty members here. Jane Dutton, Bob Quinn, who isn't here. He's going to be here tonight for dinner, but he's teaching 3 different programs in executive education this week, bringing POS to the world. And Kim Cameron, I know Kim is here someplace. Where's Kim? I saw him earlier. So the 3 of them had these deep conversations about our field and the things that they cared about. And then 9/11 happened, and that kind of created even more momentum. So as I arrived in 2001, they put on this amazing conference. It was over at the School of Social Work as the setting, which I thought was kind of interesting too. But a small group of scholars, maybe 30 or 40, a fairly small group, to come together and kind of together envision what this positive perspective on organizations could be. And one thing that came out of that conference, the way they ended the conference is they had people join in small groups and envision symposia that they could submit for the Academy of Management. So this conference was in December. You know, the deadline for Academy submissions is January. So rather than just having it be like a pipe dream, people got so excited they actually submitted these to the Academy of Management. And that really was the beginning of the blossoming of this field of positive organizational scholarship. After that, more faculty started becoming part of this movement. We started the Center for Positive Organizations shortly after that, and Wayne Baker was our first faculty director. And then you heard about so many of the things that Julia talked about. We started really as a research organization, really trying to promulgate this body of research and attract scholars and get them excited about the work that was happening. So the incubators, to have work in progress, a safe space for doctoral students and junior faculty to get feedback on their research. The Positive Link series for research to inform not only other researchers, but to practitioners, to staff here at the University of Michigan, to organizations that care about trying to make their organizations more positive. There was the first research conference that followed that initial one, all the POS gatherings. We run a executive education course called The Positive Leader 4 times a year, and people from around the world. It's actually happening this week, and we had people from Nigeria and Saudi Arabia and various places that care about trying to bring these ideas to their own organization. We also started something called the Positive Organizations Consortium. So I mentioned we started out as a research organization. And as we were getting started, we found more and more students who were coming to us and saying, we want to learn about how we can do this in our time here at Ross, in building our culture here and working with teams here. But also as they graduated, they wanted to be in kinds of organizations that would emulate kind of this positive spirit and these positive practices. And so we began to envision courses that would introduce students to the theory and practice of positive organizations. And then we also had programming for students. We had something called the Magnify program, where students would come in and do action-based learning with companies. And we had our Plus Lab, which was an opportunity for students to be in a year-long developmental experience. So it was wonderful because we were doing the research and using your research as well to help inform these student experiences. And then as we were doing that, and many of these students were going out to the world, they were saying, well, we want more help now that we're managers and now that we're leaders in these organizations. And we started something called the Positive Organizations Consortium. And it's a group of companies that come together twice a year for 2 days to learn about the practice and the research of positive organizations, and then monthly seminars. And so our center's kind of grown in its mission and its purpose over these now 20 years, and it's been very exciting to see how it has evolved. Ross is also our business school, so there's our center, there's the Department of Management and Organizations, and there's the Ross School of Business, and then there's the university. And the center has also made important contributions to the culture and the vision of Ross, as well as to the university. So in our Positive Leader Executive Education program, we often will have people come over and take that week-long class. We have a Positive Business Conference that we run every year, and we have people from around campus and around the world come and learn from there about how to bring these practices to their units. So at the university, we feel like these ideas have been embraced and put into practice. But the Ross vision under Allison Davis Blake 2 deans ago, we're having a brand new dean arriving in August from the University of Colorado Boulder. I think we have some of her colleagues here. Yay! Sorry, we're taking your wonderful dean, but we're really excited to have Sharon come and join us. But under Allison, the vision of the school really got transformed to be explicitly focused on the positive. So Ross is, if you look at our website, Ross is committed to building a better world through business. Through our powerful ideas, purpose-driven leaders, and positive impact, we empower business leaders to make a positive difference in the world. That is our mission. And what's interesting is that as the school created that, they also were sending staff through programs to introduce them to positive organizational scholarship. And there was a book club. Jane and I wrote a book a few years ago called The Positive Leader, and there was a series of workshops that were based on each chapter of that book to introduce the staff to these ideas. So that gives you a little idea kind of our evolution over time from a research organization to one that really branched out into serving students, and now even more so to the world of practice, whether it's here at the Ross School of Business, the University of Michigan, or beyond. So let me shift gears from that now to maybe giving some ideas about how to maximize your experience over here over the next 2 days. So how many of you, is this your first in-person conference since COVID? All right, so many of us, right? It might feel a little overwhelming, right? Maybe even a little exhausting for those of us that have been kind of hermits over the last few years. So we have to pace ourselves, right? So stay hydrated, take breaks, all of those kind of things. But even more so than that, to come to this conference with a purpose. So I know we have a lot of junior faculty here. We have a lot of doctoral students here. I know you're coming to get feedback on your ideas, to learn more about positive organizational scholarship. But I'm going to ask all of us to think about setting an intention about something that we care about for this 2 days of time together. So if tomorrow afternoon, as we were wrapping up and you're heading back to your part of the world, what would make this conference a home run for you? So for me, the intention that I'm setting for myself is trying to make high quality connections, especially with the more junior scholars that are here, to learn about their research and have an opportunity to get to know them better. So that's my intention. I'm going to give you a moment now to reflect on what is your intention. What is something that you want to put front and center so that as you're going through the conference over the next 2 days, it's not going through the motions, right? It's going through the conference with some intention about something that's important to you. So I'm going to give you 30 seconds or so to think about what that intention is, and then I'm going to give you a chance to share it with somebody sitting next to you. So about 30 seconds, and then I'll give you a chance to share. You have an intention? Are you ready to share? If you don't have one, let the other person go first, and maybe that'll spark an idea. Not take theirs, but spark an idea for you. All right, so literally 2 minutes, 2 minutes. 1 minute each person, talk to somebody nearby you. What is your intention? Are we okay on time? Are we good?
But it's okay because we started 2 minutes late.
Okay, okay, good, good. All right, let me grab us together again. If you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. If you can hear me, clap 3 times. All right, great, thank you. So I hope you keep that intention top of mind and think about as you're going through this conference experience, rather than making it a normal conference experience, to make it a positively deviant conference experience by bringing that intention to life. So the last thing I want to leave you with is one more practice. And this practice is inspired for me by 2 people that are here in this audience who were here at the last conference presenting their research. And now that research has been published in the Academy of Management Journal. So yay to them. That's great. So we anticipate that will be true for many of you that are presenting work in progress here, that you're going to get some great feedback and it's going to get presented. But the AMJ is actually one of our finalists for the best paper. It's called Building a Swift Sense of Community. And isn't that an appropriate topic for us today? And that paper is by Ruit Livneh Tarandash and Haria Juzari, who, where are they? They're here someplace. All right, right here. So this practice came out of their qualitative research at a summer camp for kids that had a parent dealing with cancer. And it was a special summer camp that ran each year. And counselors, it ran for one time each summer, is that right? One time each summer. And so people came together and had to quickly build a sense of community. And as you can imagine, given these were kids who were away from home from a sick parent, there was a lot of homesickness that happened. And so the camp counselors were always trying to figure out how can we help support these kids as they're dealing with the homesickness. And of course, they couldn't always be with the kids to be able to support them. And so they developed this practice. And let me share with you just a quote from the paper. So, a swift sense of community can be created through 4 intertwined phases of resourcing, another concept that's really crucial in our positive organizational scholarship. Intertwined phases of resourcing in which a mundane artifact, in this case, a bread tag. Have you seen these when you buy a loaf of bread? So these counselor, or one counselor in specific, was trying to figure out, how do I connect with these kids? How do I resource a common object to become something symbolic and important? So this bread tag was transformed into a new resource in use that served as a scaffold for the formation of a swift sense of community. So what happened was a counselor who started it would give a bread tag, just a wild and crazy idea that came up in the moment, wasn't planned before they got to camp, gave the bread tag to one of the homesick campers and asked them to put it on their shoelace as a sign, as a signal that that counselor was still with them in spirit. And so the counselor gave out a number of bread tags to different kids, and the kids saw it, and they wondered about what it was, and they were talking to those other campers, and the campers started giving the bread tags to others, and so it became kind of a contagion that happened at the summer camp, and eventually, by the end of the week, almost everybody had a bread tag. So I'd like us to have bread tags at this conference. As you make a high quality connection, you could share a bread tag with somebody. So you see I have a whole bunch on my name tag. I've given them out as I've been talking. Who already has a bread tag? People I've been running into this morning. I've got lots more here. There's also bread tags at the registration desk. If you can't find me, you can pick one up there, but you have to make a high quality connection with one of the people at the registration desks. Or as you're having a conversation with somebody that you haven't met, you could give your bread tag to them. Now they actually had the idea that these bread tags got decorated and so forth. You could choose to do whatever you'd like with the bread tag, but what I would like you to do over the course of these next 2 days is share your bread tags as a way of making a high quality connection. And so I so appreciate the two of you for your inspiration, and I did ask their permission ahead of time about using this as part of our conference. So I'm super excited about it, that it came out of, their research came out of, I don't want to take credit. No, their research was presented here before, so it has a history with us here. And I think the topic is so spot on for what we're trying to do. So with that, I wish you a great conference. Pace yourself, have a great experience. When you can, get some fresh air outside. It's a beautiful day. Our campus is wonderful. We're so glad that you're here. And so with that, I will turn it back to Julie.
We have a little gift for you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you,
so
Gretchen.
much. Thank you.